Assalamu alaikum. Good morning to those who are joining from the Middle East and Europe, and good afternoon to those who are joining from Asia. Welcome to the Halal in Travel Global Summit 2025. I take this opportunity to welcome everyone for joining us today at the Halal in Travel Global Summit 2025, hosted by Crescentrating. In this session, we will discuss the topic of protecting the planet, integrating environmental stewardship into halal tourism. We have three main objectives for this session. The first objective is to explore how environmental sustainability aligns with the ethical and values-driven principles of halal tourism. Second objective is going to be to identify actionable strategies for integrating eco-conscious practices across the halal travel ecosystem. Third objective is to discuss how halal tourism stakeholders can contribute to climate goals, biodiversity protection, and community sustainability. So very important three objectives we have for this session. To explore further these objectives, I'm joining you today from the beautiful Sydney, Australia. My name is Irshad, Cader, and I'm the CEO of Globothink Halal Industry Consulting Services, serving the Australasia and Middle East regions. It is truly a pleasure and honor to be with you all. Over the past 30 years, I have been fortunate to work across the travel retail, hospitality sectors in Australia, Southeast Asia, and the Middle East. Throughout this journey, I have developed a deep passion for the advancement of the global halal tourism industry. Alhamdulillah, I have had the privilege of contributing to this growing field by participating in various international initiatives and presenting several research papers, including at the prestigious World Halal Summit in Istanbul, as well as at other key conferences around the world dedicated to halal industry development. Currently, I'm pursuing my PhD in halal industry management, focusing on the governance of Muslim-friendly tourism and hospitality in Australia. So today, I'm extremely happy and humbled to serve as the moderator for this important session. I look forward to a meaningful discussion, engaging insights, and valuable exchange of ideas as we collectively contribute to the growth and sustainability of halal tourism and its impact on the global travel landscape. Thank you all for joining us, and let's make this a productive and inspiring session together, inshallah. Today, if I may give you a bit of background of how we are and what we are doing at this point of time when it comes to halal tourism. Today, environmental sustainability is no longer a peripheral concern. It is central to the future of global tourism. As the world faces pressing environmental challenges, our industry must rise to meet them with integrity, innovation, and a sense of collective responsibility. For halal tourism, this shift is not only necessary, it's not only necessary for us, it is deeply aligned with our core values. In this session, we are honored to bring together a group of leaders and change makers who are pioneering new paths forward. They will share practical solutions and strategies, from reducing carbon emissions and managing waste to conserving water, energy, and biodiversity, all while satisfying or staying true to faith-based values and advancing global sustainability goals. We will also explore how environmentally conscious tourism can enhance the appeal of destinations. So this is something very important we will discuss today. All right, so we will explore how environmentally conscious tourism can enhance the appeal of destinations, empower local communities, this is another, and ensure the long-term viability of the halal tourism sector. To explore this timely needed and an important topic, we are honored to be joined by three distinguished guests who will share their insights with us. Let me begin by introducing our first guest to the audience. The first guest is going to be none other than Sister Saeeda Ahmed, founder and the president of Sustainable Cities Global Limited. Sister Saeeda is a sustainability advocate. She is an ambassador for the United Nations Global Sustainable Index Institute and an advisor to its 25 international sustainable cities, known as Model Cases of Excellence, on the implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals. She is also a special advisor to the President of Somalia for the development and growth of education, healthcare, environment, and the industrial, animal, and commercial sectors. Not only that, she is also the advisor to the government of Brazil on halal industry development. She is currently leading in and involved in high-level financing in halal and impact sectors, clean energy, health and wellness, housing, education, and waste to commodities projects, food security and clean energy tech to finance the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. I was told by Sister Saeeda just a while ago that she'll be announcing a major international project originating in Brazil on World Environmental Day on 5th of June 2025. Sister Saeeda, we'll be waiting for that major announcement. And it is good to have you with us today in this panel.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. It's my pleasure.
Pleasure is ours as well. Then the second guest, yes, Brother Taufan Rahmadi is the founder of Indonesia Tourism Innovation Foundation, ITIF. Brother Taufan Rahmadi, a national tourism development strategist in Indonesia, has established himself as one of Indonesia's most influential figures in the tourism sector. With unwavering dedication to community-based, cultural, and environmentally conscious tourism development, Brother Taufan has remained committed to the cause for over a decade. Today, he's been one of the advisors to the current president of Indonesia, President Prabowo. He's entrusted as a member of the Expert Council for the National Solidarity Movement. We call it GSN, in the field of tourism. So he's playing a very important role in the Indonesian government. Most importantly, Brother Taufan played an important role in positioning the beautiful island of Lombok as a leading global halal destination, which I witnessed early this year, and won several prestigious awards. Lombok is an island with 1,000 mosques. We also have third guest. He'll be joining us later. This is Professor Jack Sim, who is the founder of World Toilet Organization. Mr. Toilet, Jack Sim broke the global taboo around toilets and sanitation. That's his specialty. His World Toilet Organization brought toilets to 2.5 billion people. He graduated at Lee Kuan Yew School of Public Policy and Singularity University. And also he's a fellow of Schwab of the World Economic Forum and also Ashoka Global Fellow. Also, he has won an award from Queen Elizabeth's Points of Light Award. Also Clinton Global Initiatives Fellow, and as well as he appeared on Time Magazine's Heroes of the Environment for 2008. And also his honorary doctorate from the University of Strathclyde. So here we go. So we have a wonderful line of guest speakers to discuss this topic. So without further ado, I would ask the first question from our first guest, which is Sister Saeeda. Sister Saeeda, would you like to explain to us how do Islamic principles and halal tourism values, in the sense, how do Islamic principles and halal tourism values align with the environmental stewardship and sustainability?
Thank you. The first thing is that with the Islamic values of Hakulibad, the responsibility to creation. Now, creation doesn't just mean people who are Muslims. It doesn't mean just people within a particular nationality or background. It actually is much wider, and it encompasses wider than the corporate social responsibility. Incorporates within this biodiversity. It includes within there the responsibility to social justice, etc. So the first thing I would say, Islamic economy is rooted in responsibility to all those around us. And as a traveler, the Quran mentions, the rights of travelers, etc. But also, I think we need to kind of take it a step further and say, in a world which is increasingly globalized, and, the global village is in real play at this moment in time. Muslims are traveling all over the world, and we have not just, I suppose, needs as any other traveler would have, but we have faith-based needs and spirituality-based needs as travelers, in terms of, access to food or access to certain types of things that we associate with being a Muslim. But it's not just our needs, it's about the needs of the communities, the biodiversity, and actually the local people who are socially disadvantaged in a particular area. Because, tourism and travel shouldn't be something we do with mindlessness. We should be conscious, we should be aware, and we should be doing it with the intent that we as travelers, when we go to a particular place, we leave it better than we've received it. And those people are nurtured and nourished through us visiting them rather than harmed. And the reason I say this is because globally, in a sense of where capitalism has thrived, is like creating cheap bargain holidays, going out there, having big buffets, etc., large amounts of wastage of food, where actually, there's and I will go into this in more detail, but it's where there's the assets of that area have been stripped down. The resources are being used in a profoundly wasteful way, and in a way which is not sustainable long term. But also the different stakeholder groups, which I would say are protected by the Quran and by Islam, should actually be looked after, and they're not. And I think that, this is a great opportunity where halal tourism is concerned, in ensuring that we don't just have a place where we can pray or have access to halal food, that we create the narrative of responsible, kind, and actually socially and biodiversity, climate responsible practices.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, when it comes to waste, you made a very good point, Sister Saeeda. The destinations, when they're taking care of the guests, the one side is the resources, the other side is how you are managing the resources. This matters. And Islam doesn't encourage israf, which is waste. You made a very good point, and how the destinations are taking care of their guests, and how best they can make sure the waste is being controlled, or waste is being minimized, because there are so many out there in the world starving for food. We can think of course, many countries. We can name it.
Yes.
But even for one time meal and one time a day, it's not been there. So it's something that very important. Cautious. The destination should be very cautious when they're serving, taking care of the guest. The other one, the very important point you mentioned, was Islamic economy is rooted, and it's not only for Muslims; it's for all. That's a very valid point, Sister Saeeda.
May I add something just based on what you said? And I really like the idea of how you've mentioned around, usage and resource management.
Yeah.
Now, one is about wastefulness. So it's like what the hotels or the accommodation or the airlines, for example, are doing. And the other is our use of resources, gluttony. Do I need to fill 7 plates of food at a buffet when I know that the child is 3 years old and they'll barely finish 1 plate? How are we using what we're doing? So greed plays a part in this and so forth, and managing resources in such a way that when we're using something, we're doing it in a way which doesn't spoil our holiday or our enjoyment of the activity, but at the same time, it doesn't exploit what's there. And I think that there's another part in this which I'm happy to just bring up now, and this is about also how workers are treated, because I think that there's examples where you see tourists going in with superstar status in their head, and they can be extremely rude to people who are poor, who are working in the hotels, in the hospitality industry. And I'm not going to mention which country it was, but I remember going on a business trip over 15 years ago. And when I went there was somebody at the hotel lobby that was working there as concierge, and he helped me with my luggage. He did all of these things, and every time I'd come in and out of that hotel, I would always greet him and ask him how he was. Years passed, and I think over 12 years had passed, and I was back in that area again. And when I went there, the same concierge was there, and he said, Madam Saeeda, how are you? And I said, oh my gosh, you have an amazing memory. You are so, you are so mindful that I came here. And I said, it's been over 12 years. And you remember, he goes, we always remember the people who are really nice to us. And I just thought it's beautiful that he remembered me, but it's actually tragic that he had to remember me for 12 years, because the fact that tourists are going out and not being respectful and mindful and kind to people who are working in these spaces, and sometimes they're in very poor paid, jobs, etc. It shouldn't be the way of Islamic or halal tourism. We need to kind of strive to be better, kinder, and much more responsible to those whose lands we go to look at and to experience. And we need to make it easier for people that are living in those areas and working in those areas as a legacy, not just to those people, but the next set of tourists that come. Because if we go there and trash it, then the next people are going to get an experience of a place that isn't the way we inherited it.
Yeah, absolutely right. I totally agree with you. It's not only we are taking care of the waste of food and the other resources, also your human resources and how you can take care of them. And
Yes.
there is a famous saying: when you take care of your staff, the staff will take care of your customers.
Yes. Yes.
Right? And it's Islamic principles and how you should be treating your employees. That itself. So it's embedded within the halal tourism. And also environmental, how you can take care of the environment as guests. You're visiting another destination. It's not that you can do whatever you want to. You have to take care of the environment. You have to take care of the cultural sites. You have to take care of the fellow citizens in that country, the local economy. Try to spend money with the locals there to support their local economy. So all these actually a part of course, it's embedded within the halal tourism values. But of course, these are Islamic principles. So thank you very much, Sister Saeeda. Let me ask my second guest, Brother Taufan. Of course, he's from Indonesia, the beautiful island of Lombok. What are some practical ways tourism businesses can reduce their environmental footprint while serving Muslim travelers? Yeah. So what are some practical ways tourism businesses can reduce their environmental footprint? You have practiced it because I know you have been a halal tourism practitioner. Could you tell us your perspective and how you have practice this in your country?
Like, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Brother Irshad, for inviting me to this event, and also Sister Saeeda Ahmed. Thank you also for your. I admire your achievement in halal tourism. Yeah. So before I answer your question, Brother Irshad, let me tell you about my outfit right now. You know, I think this is very relevant, yeah, for the spirit of this halal in travel. Yeah, I use a very traditional headband from Sasaknis. It called sapu, yeah, sapu. Yeah, this sapu is the symbolize of Sasaknis man, yeah, that he belongs to the God. He make a great commitment to the God. He do not want to act bad into the environment. He do not want to act bad for the people, for the guests. He only serve for the God Almighty, Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, and also want have the commitment for the society. This is the spirit of Sapu. So why I use this? I want that whole the world to see us. That's the spirit of halal. That spirit of tourism, halal tourism, is already in our blood, in our DNA. Okay? So if you talk about West Nusa Tenggara, Lombok and Sumbawa, the soul of tourism is already in halal spirit.
Yeah.
Okay, that's my introduction to this event. Okay, I begin to make make in charge in a tourism when the governor asked me to be the chairman of West Nusa Tenggara Tourism Board in 2014. In that time, many people in Lombok do not understand about halal tourism. This is challenging for me. This is challenging for the government. So the first step is make people know, make a socialization about the halal tourism. So we invite all the leaders. We invite the minister. We invite the halal figures like Prof. Sapta, Mr. Yanto Sofyan. All Indonesian leaders knows about halal. We invite to come to Lombok, and also we invite the people leader, the religion leader, yeah, the culture leader, the industry, yeah, from the tourism village also. All the stakeholders we invite in the national meeting about halal tourism in that time. What is the goal? That they have to know about the halal tourism. So in that time, the point of the meeting is we all agree. First, halal tourism is a lifestyle. It's the extended services. Halal tourism did not kill the conventional tourism. Yeah, did not kill conventional tourism. And also, this is part of the opportunity to grab the market, the other market, that the tourists wants to have the halal services during their holiday. Yeah, this is the spirit. And then, what about the industry? We have a clear also definition that industry only just prepare for the services that they already done every time. Because in Indonesia, in Lombok, the default DNA is already halal. You know what I mean? Because majority is already a Muslim. So the hotel, the restaurant is already served in halal. Yeah. And then we ask them that you just serve what you have to serve every day to the traveler. That's a halal services. The kitchen, the room with the toilet, with the standard of our Muslim toilet, yeah. And then also the amenities, yeah. Also the garbage, and Al Quran, also the what I call it rukuh, yeah. For the woman to pray.
Is the abaya you mean?
Yeah, you mean, yeah, I see like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's so just prepare for that. This is the first step that we want to make industry stakeholder do not afraid about halal tourism. Do not afraid. Just do what you have to do, like daily services with your tourists. That's the first thing that we do during my as a chairman of West Nusa Tenggara Tourism Promotion Board. The second is make a standout promotion. Make a standout promotion. I know that we have a limited budget. I know that Lombok, when choose halal tourism, still have no support from other province in Indonesia. They still very afraid to make branding as a halal tourism destination at that time. So I prepare the material, the marketing tools and everything 1 year from 2014, yeah, until 2015. I prepare very properly for the promotion. One of the biggest is the catwalk in the air. We give an idea to the Garuda Indonesia, the national flight courier of Indonesia. We ask the management that we want to cooperate with you, but you have to promote Lombok Sumbawa as the tourism destination with the soul of the halal services. And then they agree, and in that inauguration, we do catwalk in the air with the three princes represent the three major tribes in Indonesia, traditional ethnic group in Indonesia, in Lombok, in West Nusa Tenggara, yeah, Sasak, Mbojo, and Samawa. That's the three best ethnic group, three great ethnic group in Indonesia, in West Nusa Tenggara, I mean. So that catwalk in the air is very make attention to the media, and then our video that launched in Garuda, so that event spread all over the world. So this is the momentum for the great promotion Lombok and Sumbawa as a halal tourism destination. In 2015, World Halal Travel Award called us that we have been as a champion for two categories: World Best Halal Tourism Destination and World Best Halal Honeymoon Destination. Then this is become the 1 year highlight of the Minister of Tourism of Indonesia. At that time is Mr. Arif Yahya. So socialization, stand out promotion, and we have the world recognition. Now, after that, after we have the world recognition, as the world best halal tourism destination, the stakeholders begins to believe us that they do not afraid anymore to put the label halal in their promotion tools. You know what I mean? Yeah. So they put the label halal in every sales mission. This is Lombok. This is Samawa. This is West Nusa Tenggara. We are a halal destination.
Very good.
If you take a look before that, at 2015, they do not know anything. They're very scared to put the label on. So I think this is is very, very a great moment for us in that time.
Yeah. And just a quick one, since you mentioned about that, since we are talking about the environmental footprint, especially when it comes to Lombok, I have seen, the way that you have promoted, as you rightly mentioned, now it's been an icon, and Lombok Island has won 3 times Global Halal Best Destination Awards. It's amazing achievement, Brother Taufan. Can you tell us how you incorporated the environmental factor? Because when I found you have green initiatives, the clean beach initiatives. Could you tell us how this all the strategies been devised and formulated?
Okay. This is my also my my work portfolio during the ministry choose me as the halal tourism team at that time. We always support the destination that support the environment, like Gili. When you go to Gili, there is no motorcycle there, only biking. You know what I mean? So we have together to protect the Gili from the motorcycle. We don't want the Gili pollute by the gas. The gas,
the carbon, the carbon, the gas. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the carbon of the gas. So that's one.
Yes.
The second one, that we also make a very interesting package travel. Yeah, package travel that every tourist that come to destination must planting the trees. You know what I mean? Must planting the trees with his name. So we won maybe 3 or 4 years after the tourists plant the trees, they will come again to see the growth of the trees with his name or her name, like that.
Very good initiative.
Nice.
It's nice.
So that's
it's very
the simple
unique
thing that we do. That is simple thing that we do to support the environment, sustainability tourism in Lombok. That's
fantastic. Thank you very much, Brother Taufan. Really interesting, and how you promoted from zero. There was no concept as such in Lombok as halal tourism, and you started in your during your chairmanship, and now it's been thriving and already won 3 global or international awards for the island. We're very happy about it. I think Professor Jack has joined the team. How are you, Professor Jack?
Yeah, very good. Thanks.
I already introduced you. I knew that you had some issues with the connection. So let me ask the question straight away from you, Professor Jack, because I know you're expert in this, of course, the toilets and sanitation arena, and you won many global awards, and also provided 2.5 billion toilets for 2.5 billion people. So sanitation is a critical but often overlooked aspect of sustainable tourism. How does improving access to clean, dignified sanitation facilities support environmental stewardship and inclusive travel, particularly for faith-based travelers, Professor Jack?
Yeah, thank you very much. So basically, for halal tourism, tourists should have ablution facilities. So I think if you have an extra design for ablution, washing your arms, your legs, I think it will be very attractive for destination owners, especially if you're attracting the Islamic tourists. In many places, they don't realize that this is profitable, and also it's very it's a good service. So I think every public toilet where you have Islam travelers or community or population should be provided with either a Japanese type of the wash bidet toilet, which is the best, or at least the tube. If you have the hose, what happens is that the water tend to spill outside the WC, so that is still a little bit of wetness. The footprint will bring it outside a bit dirty. But if you have the smart toilet nowadays, it's not very expensive anymore. It used to be very, very expensive. I think bidet toilet can be very recommended. Recently, I was approached by the Saudi Arabia Authority for the two holiest mosques, Medina and
Makkah.
That for the Hajj and Umrah, how to improve the cleanliness of the toilets and the state of repair. So we are looking at all the problem statement, and we are also giving them valuable advice. And that's also religious tourism is also very, very critical. So I believe that the scholarly book in the Hadith, they also cover very, very detailed how to prepare ablution before prayer. And I think you have to pray 5 times a day, and you don't want najis to happen.
Correct.
And the prayer become invalid. So I believe that we should promote more about this particular subject, so that the awareness can be very, very widespread. And another interesting thing is that the Hindus, they are also washers, and so when you provide this facility, it's not just the Islam people, but the Muslim, the Hindus are also enjoying such facility, and it's a sizable number of customers and tourists that you can attract. If you add the total population of all the washers in the world, that's quite a lot of people, Hindu is 1.4 billion people, and Islam is another very big number of people.
Yeah.
I think we should start to create the awareness, and I'm very happy to facilitate, because from the World Toilet Organization, our mission is to ensure that everybody have access to enjoyable, safe sanitation, and very happy to work with everybody. Yeah.
Very good. Thank you very much, Professor Jack. I mean, you've been the pioneer in this field. When it was a taboo, I mean, you're the one who came and broke, and you basically took the message to the entire world. Thanks for that on behalf of the entire world community. And also, as you rightly said, the cleanliness is part of our faith. Basically, it's called tahara, the Arabic term tahara, which is you need to be in a state of cleanliness, cleanliness, of course, before you even offering the prayer, as you rightly mentioned. So najis is which, if you have najis on the body or even in your clothes, I mean, your prayer will not be accepted. So that's something very important. So when the Muslim travelers in halal tourism, especially when they go to destinations, I think destinations' responsibility is to make sure they are being provided with proper toilets and also sanitation facilities, which they would be have free peace of mind, and wherever they go, they know that it's clean, it's nice, and they can they can perform their duties as well. Let me get back to Sister Saeeda. How can halal tourism contribute to global goals on climate action, biodiversity, and resource conservation? Because you are from this area of work. I know for sure you've been heavily involved in global, sustainable Sustainable Development Goals (SDGs), and you've been traveling to many countries in promoting these goals. Would you like to tell us how halal tourism can contribute to global goals on climate change, biodiversity, and resource conservation?
Sure. So first of all, I think that we need to look at this both from a strategy level and what we set as our goals, but also we look at this from the point of view of on a community level, on a community upwards level. So I think that the first thing we need to see is how ready is that country or that the industry in that country, not just for the halal economy, but also for sustainability and impact, etc. Now, I know that Indonesia has been doing a lot of work around this, and also with Saudi Arabia and their 2030 vision. So looking at, for example, where the interface between halal and climate responsibility, etc., happens. But I think there's another aspect to this as well, and we're seeing it in Europe at the moment. We're seeing it in North America, where some of the environmental and the social impact areas are being scaled down. And they're being scaled down, the climate responsibility areas, some of the, sustainable development goals, the adherence to them, etc. However, I feel as a halal economy and where halal tourism is concerned, we need to be scaling up rather than down. And we need to lead by example, because I think often where we're trailing behind others, there's a thing in terms of capitalism and international business around profit maximization. However, in Islam and the Islamic economy and halal tourism, but just the Islamic economy per se, there should be profit optimization, where we make profit. But in Islam, you know that there's a requirement of how we do things. So, for example, and using it on a community level, you pay the worker. The hadith and the example that Prophet Muhammad ﷺ gave us was that you pay the worker before the sweat on their back has dried. So that looks at workers' rights. Then you look at, for example, if you're looking at the hotels, there's the 5-star international chains, then there's the other local, and then there's the small guest houses. What do we put in place to enable those businesses to do the best for us? And how do we become informed travelers guiding? So what I would expect from a 5-star international chain would be very different to what I would expect from a small local guest house. And I think that the other thing that's really important is sourcing locally, the businesses, supporting local businesses, etc. Now there's, small things like, for example, tissues, you use or cosmetic products, cotton wool, etc. Those things, you can actually go buy them from the multinational chains, or there may be local suppliers. And for example, substituting environmentally harmful products. So things like paper that's been sourced from, protected forests and it's harmful, replacing it for bamboo tissues. For example, supporting a local ecosystem of business, but then also making sure that the checks and balances are in place to pay people fairly, on time, etc. I mean, I don't know if you know, but some of the international holiday groups, they go to developing countries all over the world. They take out long-term contracts, and they might say, well, okay, we're going to take a long-term contract out, and we will pay you, let's just say the food cost would be about £150. They would say, well, we'll pay you £90, but we'll fill the hotel up for you. And then they pay them 6 months down the line rather than when the money is due. That puts a massive strain on that particular hotel, on the services that are provided, but also some of the people who then get the squeeze, the knock-on effect of getting, paying for less than what the true cost of that product is. And when I say that true cost, there's a biodiversity cost, there's a human cost, there's a hunger cost, there's a local people cost, all of those. Then what will happen is those hotels or those travel groups will go to the local farmers and they'll say, we're not paying you the going rate. We're not going to pay you this much Indonesian rupiah, which is what your true rate is. We're going to pay you 20 or 30% and take it or leave it. And if those farmers feel that they have less money, that they're going to get boycotted or they're going to be put under political pressure, a lot of them succumb to the international parties. We need to make sure we stop that happening. We need to make sure the local supply chains are paid on time, they're paid fairly, and so forth. There's also another part that comes from unethical, unfair business practices that are not rooted into biodiversity, etc. When you cut the amount that you're paying and the true cost and it's not covered, so I think what's really important is that when we do things properly, environmental sustainability, responsibility to biodiversity, and community regeneration must go hand in hand with halal tourism. There's no one or other. It has to be together, because if we don't do it the right way, what we're going to do is to create harm to the earth, to biodiversity, to people, and actually we become takers and exploiters rather than contributors and givers. And I think that the example I use of profit optimization in the Islamic economy, it's not about one group taking maximum profit at the expense of biodiversity, of people, of climate. It's about optimizing it so everybody's looked after. And so I can't maximize my profit and actually commit social injustices. It's against my faith. So if I am interested in traveling in a faith-centric way, it can't be done ethically or morally in a way which harms the people or the areas I'm going to. Some of the things that can be done is actually investing or giving, supporting local businesses that are doing work, like supporting youth or supporting women or people who struggle in society normally. Again, the hotels provide cultural activities which are reinvesting and supporting local tradespeople, local businesses, etc. Maybe some of these things will cost more from a point of view for the hotel than a multinational chain, but the circular economy and the multiplier effect of having people that are working, lands that are being nourished properly rather than exploited, will have a long-term effect which gives community profit, which gives biodiversity related profit and value, which is beyond what is being measured in purely profit-driven models.
Yeah, correct. Absolutely. I mean, I totally agree with you. I mean, profit maximization versus profit optimization. This is something very interesting takeaway. In Islam, it talks about profit optimization, not maximization. So we need to take care of the local businesses, and of course, as you rightly mentioned, it starts from paying the right salary, taking care of your own staff, helping the small businesses in the area, and giving them sustainable future. Basically, when you support them, they can support back to the community.
Yep. And this is what I'm sorry, Brother Irshad, this is what I'm doing in Brazil as well. So one of the projects we've already signed up in Brazil is around the carbon markets and so forth, and utilizing climate finance to create ethical, sustainable tourism and income opportunities for the local people. So we're matching and bringing financial investment into Brazil to create not just not just inward foreign direct investment, but supporting the local infrastructure like clean water facilities, housing, healthcare, micro enterprise programs, which train people and provide them with the resources so that they can have businesses. So when we start bringing the people in as tourists, we are doing so in a way where the local people can benefit and they can have a good quality livelihood and happiness in their own lives, as well as giving it to us. Because the worst thing that can happen is we go to another country, we take the resources, the goodwill, the kindness, and there's an abundance of kindness from the hosts of many of these countries, but actually give them something that they can afford to feed their families with dignity and to give their children an education. And if their child wants to go to the fairground or have an ice cream, they can afford that just as well as we can enjoy it for our families and our children.
Yeah, correct. Thank you very much, sister. It's a very interesting project. I would like to explore more in the future discussions. And Brazil is going to have some wonderful case studies for us to share around the world. Quickly, Brother Taufan, we are running out of time. So in nutshell, can you share examples of destinations or organizations that have successfully integrated sustainability into halal tourism offerings from your perspective, from your experience?
Okay. Yeah, of course. During my job in the chairman of West Nusa Tenggara Tourism Promotion Board, Lombok is a great example, I think. Before we choose halal tourism as our brand, the rising of the tourists visiting to Lombok is just a common amount, yeah. But after we have award from the World Halal Travel Award, we rise until 174% in that time, yeah, 2015. So this is become the inspiration from other provinces like Aceh, like West Sumatra, like West Java. They come to us and they learn how to make destination become a halal destination. This is, I think, a great achievement for halal tourism in Indonesia as services that make great revenue for tourism devisa like this. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. You have anything else to say?
A few days ago, I met the governor of West Nusa Tenggara, the new governor, Mr. Iqbal. During our conversation, we have agreed that Lombok and Sumbawa, West Nusa Tenggara right now, must come up with the quality tourism. You know what I mean? Sustainable tourism. Yeah. With the base is Muslim-friendly destination. Yeah.
Right.
He also agreed that in the future, many program of tourism in West Nusa Tenggara related to the services for Muslim visitor, and also we make marketing reorientation. You know, not just to take the visitors from Australia, not just to take the tourists from the Europe, but also from the Middle East.
Right. Right.
So this is I think the great strategy.
Some of the proportions that correct.
The great strategy for us to make improvement for our tourism development.
Right. Thank you, Professor Jack. The one last question. We have only a few minutes left. From your perspective, Professor, how can destinations and tourism providers integrate sanitation infrastructure into their sustainability strategies? Especially in high traffic or nature-based sites, without compromising environmental impact or user dignity?
So basically, when I first started in China, Beijing was preparing for the 2008 Olympics. So that was 2004. And they were very worried that all the tourists will come and not talk about the Olympics, but they will talk about the dirty toilets. And in 4 years, we transformed the entire culture of Beijing. And when the toilets are renovated, people are very happy. Some people store the toilet, we replace it. After a while, there's nobody stealing, and the toilet cleaners are trained with not just cleaning, but with good manners, greeting people. And so eventually, when 4 years later, the Olympics came, the Olympics was a big success. And I think the whole China realized that clean toilet attracts more tourists. And clean toilets is a profitable revenue generator, because dirty toilet chase away tourists. So suddenly, in the last 20 years, you can see a country with 1.4 billion people, every tourism toilet is now clean. And I would even be a little bit shy to say that they are cleaner than the Singapore coffee shop toilet, which is horrible and have no improvement in the last 30 years. Because the owners doesn't see any benefit cleaning the toilet, since everybody is going to eat there, even they know the toilet is dirty. Whereas the tourism toilet in China is now 100% clean. And I think we have to link profitability to the attraction of clean toilets. And if we do that, then all the owners will start to do that. So how do you do in places like Singapore coffee shop, where they actually don't believe that they should clean, because every time they clean, they have to spend money and water and soap. And therefore, if we keep it dirty, nobody will use. So what we need to do is create this kind of app whereby people, it's like TripAdvisor, so Toilet Advisor app, and people are rating it before they visit the site. So you can do it in Indonesia, in Malaysia, in India, in anywhere. We must do it also in Singapore. And when it hurts the pocket, when it hurts the income, the owners, they will clean.
Yeah, absolutely marvelous point, Professor Jack. It's amazing point. I mean, TripAdvisor, not only the criteria to see the room and the hotel, then the weave and all other elements that you look at before you select a destination, but also you'll be looking at the toilets, cleanliness of toilets, and in every destination. That can also link to the profitability, as you rightly mentioned, Professor Jack. It's it's from a different perspective, but it's absolutely going to work in the future, I'm sure. Yes, I think we have come to the end of this insightful session. I hope the audience was enlightened with insightful information on protecting the planet, integrating environmental stewardship into halal tourism. I take this opportunity to thank our three distinguished speakers in this session for their valuable contributions. Sister Saeeda, Ahmed, founder and the president of Sustainable Cities Global Limited. Thank you very much, Sister Saeeda. I wish you all the very best for your future projects. And it's very interesting, and we'll be waiting, inshallah, till the 5th of June for the big announcement from your end, from Brazil. And also Professor Jack Sim, founder of World Toilet Association. And thank you very much for valuable input, Professor. And the last point itself is more than enough for all of us to take it as an example to take around the world. And at last but not the least, Brother Taufan Rahmadi is the founder of Indonesian Tourism Innovation Foundation. Thank you very much, Brother Taufan. Your input was amazing, and we wish you all the very best, and to take the Lombok the island to the next level. And we will visit once again to enjoy your beautiful island. At last but not the least, I thank you for joining this session. Do check out the other interesting sessions we have lined up for you today. Thank you very much once again, everyone. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.